Good morning. Let's talk a little bit about working while you have a case pending. In particular, if you, well, this would most recently apply to someone who has an attorney or a non-attorney rep. But if you start to try to work while your case is pending, which is not an impossible thing to do, but it's got to be done with great care, great care. You're going to want to definitely confer with your attorney, who will hopefully be very knowledgeable on how best to do that. I know some attorneys will just say don't do it because they don't perhaps feel confident in explaining the ins and the outs and the rules to keep your risk as low as possible. But whatever the case may be, if you start to work, you've got to tell your representative, okay? Because the SSA is going to find out about it. You're going to get all sorts of information from whether it's the financial sector or the IRS. These things do come out. So if you're a W-2, it's definitely going to come out. And if you're self-employed, that's very, very important to stay on top of, because you're going to want to have extra diligent record keeping about the amount of time you put in, what the net income from the self-employment is. And because it's self-employment and we keep our own documentation, you're going to have to be very much more astute about doing that, which you wouldn't necessarily have to do in a W-2 position, because that's far more objectively defined and you don't have control over what's reported. I noticed that some people start to do things like Uber or DoorDash, or some other kind of gigger work, and they don't even realize that that's called self-employment. They get a 1099. And they don't report it. And then lo and behold, it rears its ugly head. Sometimes the ALJ will have information that was never in the file until they ran a particular report right before a hearing, and you didn't tell your lawyer about it. This could sink your ship. I mean, if it was self-employment and you never properly filed your business write-offs, the income that you're reporting might just sink your ship. There is a variety, not to mention the fact that you didn't report it. Sometimes an adjudicator is going to take that as a sign of deceit. And often I would say it's by and large not deceit, it's just ignorance. But when, usually when you sign up with a lawyer, one of their major facts or directions is you have to come to me and talk to me if you are going to start work or you do start work. So it is really important. The only way that the lawyer or the representative can protect you and guide you accordingly, so that if you did start to go off the rails by working inappropriately for your case, they can give you the heads up on that, because they're going to be able to recognize it, which you probably wouldn't be able to do. So remember, Uber, DoorDash, mowing someone's lawn. Some people do online work. They try to sell things online, like have a little Etsy store or something. Or an affiliate. Certainly, oftentimes that is not going to be substantial work, because it's not going to be 25 hours a week or, but, you have to have it well documented. Because even if you don't earn income, because let's say, you invest some, you make little or no revenue at that time, because it takes time, the activity hours, if the kind of work you did, even though you didn't get paid, is the kind of work that would normally be paid by an employer if it was in the labor force for a company, then it doesn't matter that you didn't get paid. It's the work activity that counts and what that value of work is. So you have to be super, super careful here, okay? Don't just on the sly, go to work without talking to your representative. And if you don't have one, you're gonna have to look all this stuff up. Look up the earnings rules, look up SGA, TWP, and self-employment. Because again, it's a little more complicated than W-2 work. Because again, W-2 work, the employer does all the reporting. It's very objective. When you're self-employed, you have the power to, present the numbers as you deem appropriate. And of course, that can tend to lead some people to be able to misrepresent numbers, including hours worked. And sometimes when we're self-employed, if you're managing your own little business, that could come and bite you. So everything's got to be, To the extent you do it, you want to keep it within the rules of working while you have a pending claim and after the claim if you prevail. So it's something you have to pay close attention to. And don't not tell your representative, because if you get to hearing and that comes out and nobody knew because you didn't tell, it's probably going to sink your ship with the ALJ. Even if you weren't necessarily SGA, he might not necessarily believe that because you hid it for so long. So, and this could be particularly true if you didn't file a return at all, but then you were honest at hearing and said, well, yeah, I've been trying to work doing XYZ, it's just not gonna go well, most likely. So let's stay up front with your attorney. Know that working is the questions surrounding work and work activity, even if it's volunteer or unpaid or not for profit, are as critical as your medical evidence, because of the first two questions in the sequential evaluation process that the SSA and the fact finder, including the ALJ, if you go to hearing, are going to have to determine is, are you working SGA? And are your impairments severe enough to impact your ability to do work-related activities? So anything you do work-wise is going to be relevant to that. And mind you, as most of you know that have seen any of my videos on this, I'm a big proponent of disabled people working part-time to the extent they can and the extent that they choose to. I found so many benefits to their quality of life, their income level, and their mental health, even just getting out and about. So I think it's more often than not doable, but you have to do it right. And if you don't bring it up, no one can help you do it right. And you're most likely going to flub it, okay? And lose your case. And as you know, that might be the last time you have a case. Unless, of course, you continue to earn credits and properly pay taxes and stay insured into perpetuity through part-time work. But anyway, those are different videos about that. All right, I'll talk to you later. Don't forget to tell us about your work. Volunteer, W-2, or 1099, or no 1099. It could be pure self-employment with no 1099s coming from clients. It could be your neighbors walking their dog. Okay, everything's got to come up. All right, bye now.